If you are preparing for a teaching interview, there is one part that can make even a very good teacher nervous: the demo lesson. You may know your subject extremely well, you may have years of classroom experience, but suddenly, when someone says you have 15 minutes, please take a demo class, everything feels different. So, today I want to tell you exactly what an observer is actually looking for in your demo lesson and how you can make those 10 or 15 minutes work in your favor. Let's start with the biggest mistake. A demo lesson is not about showing observer how much you know. It is about showing them how well you can make students learn. There is a big difference. Before you enter the classroom, be very clear about three things: what you are going to teach, what students should learn by the end, and how you are going to know whether they have understood it. Don't choose a topic simply because it is difficult or because you want to impress the panel. Choose something that allows you to demonstrate your teaching skills. Now, let's look at 5 stages of a strong demo lesson. Stage number 1: your opening. The first 30 to 60 seconds matter. Please don't walk in and immediately start saying, "Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn." Instead, create curiosity. Ask a question, give them a situation, show them an object, tell them a very short story, give them something to think about. For example, if you are teaching evaporation, you could ask, what happens to the water on a wet floor after a few hours? Where does it go? Suddenly, the students have a reason to listen. Remember, your introduction doesn't have to be dramatic. It just needs to make students curious. Stage number 2: tell them where you are going. Your learning objective should be clear. You could simply say, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain what evaporation is and identify two examples from everyday life. Now, the students know what they are expected to learn, and the observer knows that you understand lesson planning. Stage number 3: engagement. This is where many demo lessons fail. The teacher speaks continuously, explains everything, answers their own questions, and then moves to the next point. That is not teaching, that is presenting. A classroom should have interaction. Ask questions, give students time to think. Ask them to discuss something with a partner. Ask for examples. Use the board. Move around in the class. A very simple rule I recommend is this: don't talk for 5 minutes continuously. Break your explanation into smaller pieces and keep bringing the students back into the lesson. And remember, even if there are only three observers sitting in front of you, treat them as students. Don't start teaching the panel. Teach the imaginary class. That difference is immediately visible. Now comes stage number 4: checking for understanding. This is something coordinators and principals watch very carefully. Don't simply ask, "Did you understand?" Most students will say, "Yes." Instead, ask questions that actually tell you whether learning has happened. Can someone give me an example? Why do you think this happens? Can you explain this in your own words? Which of these two examples is correct and why? And if the student doesn't answer correctly, don't panic. This is actually your opportunity to demonstrate your teaching ability. Don't say, "No, that's wrong." Try saying, "That's an interesting thought. Let's look at it once again." Then explain differently. Because a good teacher doesn't simply know the answer. A good teacher knows what to do when the student doesn't know the answer. And finally, stage number 5, closure. Please don't let the bell, timer, or observer tell you that your lesson is over. You should close it. In the last minute, recap the key learning. Ask, you could say, before we finish, tell me one thing you learned today and one example you can see around you. That gives you closure and gives the observer evidence that you understand the complete teaching learning cycle. Now, let's talk about what principals and coordinators are actually observing while you teach. They are not only listening to your content, they are watching your classroom presence. How do you use your voice? Do you make eye contact? Are you confident without being intimidating? Do you smile? Do you move naturally? Are you aware of the entire classroom? And most importantly, how do you respond when something doesn't go according to plan? Suppose one imaginary student is not paying attention. Don't suddenly become aggressive. Don't say, "Why are you disturbing the class?" Use your presence first. Move closer, pause, and ask a question. Bring the student back into the activity. That tells the observer much more about your classroom management than a perfectly rehearsed lesson ever will. And one more important point, don't overdo technology. If you have a smart presentation, avoid animation or digital activity, but technology should support your teaching, not become your teaching. If the projector doesn't work, your lesson should still continue. Confident teacher always has plan B. Now let's come to the mistakes that can cost you the job. Number 1, trying to impress instead of trying to teach. Number 2, talking continuously without student participation. Number 3, choosing too much content for the available time. Number 4, using complicated activities that you cannot complete. And number 5, running overtime. If you are given 15 minutes, don't plan 20 minutes of content. Good teachers understand time. And finally, after the demo, you may be asked one very simple question: how do you think your lesson went? Please don't say it was perfect. And don't immediately say, I think I made many mistakes. Instead, show reflection. You could say, I think the students were engaged during the opening activity, but I would have liked to give them a little more time to respond during the questioning. If I repeated the lesson, I would improve that part. That one answer tells the interviewer that you are reflective, self aware, and willing to improve. And that is exactly what schools need. So, if you are preparing for a teaching interview, remember this: your demo lesson is not a performance, it is a demonstration of how you think as a teacher. Start with curiosity, set a clear objective, engage your students, check understanding, and close the lesson properly. Don't try to prove that you know everything. Show them that you know how to make students learn. And if you are an aspiring academic coordinator or principal watching this, remember something else. When you observe a teacher's demo, don't only look for a polished presentation, look for the fundamentals. Can this person build engagement? Can they explain clearly? Can they notice whether students are learning? They manage the room? Can they adapt? because a teacher who can do these things can grow. And that is what good school leadership should be looking for. If you found this useful, save this video before your next interview, share it with the teacher preparing for a demo class, and tell me in the comments what challenge you faced during a demo lesson. And if you are preparing for an academic coordinator or principal interview, I have also covered those interviews separately. Do watch those videos next. All the very best for your next demo lesson. Go in prepared, but more importantly, go in ready to teach. Take care.